How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we've got more of a discussion video for this one, and it's going over what my top 5 leaders from Set 3 are, because I am very hyped for Set 3. I was a big, I'm a big fan of the more like the prequels, the Clone Wars stuff, because when I my first entry to Star Wars was Episode 1 of the prequels, and then went through that growing up with my friends, basically going to see them in the cinema, things like that. And that's kind of how I got my entry point into Star Wars for like the franchise. And there are a load of characters I like Darth Maul, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn, stuff like that. Like all these kind of characters from those original, those prequel movies, and also from the Clone Wars, are what what I was first introduced to. So now with Set 3 being a set all around that era, I'm very hyped for this set, and with it comes like a load of leaders I want to try out as well, like with different mechanics or just because the character themselves. So I thought it'd be nice to go over what my top 5 leaders are from the set I'm interested in, and basically go over the reason why they are there. And only doing 5, even though there's a load of them there. There's quite a few. There's some characters that I didn't realize were like Wat Tambor and stuff like that. I didn't really know who that is until I did watch the Clone Wars and then remembered, oh yeah, he's from there. But there's a fair few different leaders, and I just want to go over them. So before we get into the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop, and by clicking the notification bell, you can get alerts when my videos do drop, so that you can watch them there and then, or later time that suits you best. So let's get into it. It's not going to be that long a video. It's going to be quite a quick one because we're just going to over top 5 leaders, and we'll start off with number 5. So number 5 is Captain Rex. So I thought Captain Rex was quite cool. You don't see him too much in the films, but in the Clone Wars series, he is prominent, and also he's in the Bad Batch as well, which I watched not too long ago. I watched it before Set 2. I managed to time it pretty perfectly. So the last episode, when I got to the last episode, it just aired. So that was pretty nice. I didn't realize that until actually I looked into it and was like, whoa, wait, it just aired when I watched it. But yeah, Captain Rex is really cool, like a cool leader of the clones as well. Basically a good captain for the clones, and puts in work as well, even as like an old guy in the Bad Batch, and as well as in the Clone Wars. And his effect's quite interesting as well, because there's a new skill in the set as well, especially for the good side. Each side does have a new skill. So the light side to the heroic side, they get new skill Coordinate, which means you got control of three or more units to kind of trigger that effect that it's attached to. So it's like if the card has Coordinate itself and it's a unit, itself can count as one of those units, so whoever wins it can trigger it. And for the dark side, they've got the Exploit, which allows you to reduce the cost of cards you want to play. That has Exploit, by defeating your own units to kind of make it cheaper. So play a bigger thing cheaper by killing off some of the units you already have at play, and makes good use of that using the Battle Droid token. Battle Droid tokens, which is really cool. And Captain Rex is one that goes around the new theme of like token units by creating clone trooper tokens, because when he's in the lead area, whenever one of your friendly units attacked that phase, you can pay 2 and tap Rex to basically make a clone trooper token. So like spam out those little tokens, and you're essentially paying 2 to get a 2/2, which is not too bad. You do have to get something out to be able to attack that turn. So as long as you attack with something that turn that's friendly, then you're good to go. Make a token. But if you can't keep something on board to attack with, you can get used to it. But then as long as you play something turn 1, swing with it, you can start making tokens, because then even the tokens swing after that. And then when he deploys, he creates a clone trooper token and himself. So like he helps facilitate the coordinate skill by, when he deploys, bring out 2 units, bring out himself and a clone trooper token. So then you have to have something else with coordinate, and it's live then, which is pretty cool. And not only that does he helps out the clone trooper units, because the token units have the same traits as him, which being Republic, Clone, and Trooper. And he gives all other trooper units an extra 1 health, so they become a little bit bulkier. So he doesn't give it to itself, but all other units. And when he does come out on 2/4, that's not too bad, because you can always buff him up, or it just makes all your clone trooper tokens a little bit beefier. So instead of being 2/2s, they're 2/3s now, which is pretty cool to make him survive a little bit easier. And he is one of the rare leaders. He's the rare leader of the heroic for green in set. I'm just hyped to try him out, because he seems to be the better of the coordinate leaders. Well, the leader's the trigger coordinate, and also he is he's a nice character, and also something interesting to play, because he does play quite early at 5 as well. So that is my 5th. Well, my Fifth of my top 5 leaders. Now we'll move on to number 4. So for number 4, we got Preisler, and this is one when he isn't like Rex, where he's like one of my like probably favorite characters from the like prequel era, but he is pretty cool because he's a never Mandalorian unit, and he is a never on the dark side. We did have Garth Saxon as the never Mandalorian leader, because we didn't get a Mandalorian leader I think until set 2. I don't think we had one set. No, we did have one in set 1. That was Sabine. And then in set 2 we got a few more, and we got more focus on Mandalorians as well. So we got a few more Mandalorian cards, and even a Darksaber as well. We had like Bo-Katan and Garth Saxon and the Mandalorian himself in the set. And then we got another dark side Mandalorian card, be Pre-Vizsla. And this one seems like a lot better, and it's more of a way to get me back into control as well, because I did really like the red-blue control, because I played with Vader. Shout out to Johnny for helping me out with that, and like get me a list of stuff to try out Vader, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. But then Vader's kind of like dropped off a little bit, even in the green version of it and the blue version, it's kind of dropped off because leaders that kind of do what they want to do have been better. Like Boss kind of replaced Vader in like kind of a better leader to do what he wanted to do. But then if you're still a Vader fan, then you probably will still go for that, because some people still go for their favorite leaders. But Pre-Vizsla seems pretty cool. A Mandalorian leader, so you can throw that Darksaber on there no matter what combination you play, even if you do, like I want to do, play it as red-blue. And also it's a pretty interesting effect where you can like ping damage, you can damage draw. Whenever, like as long as he draws cards, because he can draw. If he draws cards, you can pay 1 to ping damage on units, and it's a damage for each card you draw. It doesn't include the regroup phase, because once again that's at the end of the turn, and doesn't count for that phase, because it's this phase. Well, it's even a bit on the text on the non-hyperspace version that basically explains that. And also, like when he does deploy, he is pretty solid as a 4/6, and if you have 3 or more cards in your hand, which you're mostly always going to have, he's going to have Saboteur. And if you've got 6 or more in your hand, he becomes a 6/6, which is pretty cool. A 5 cost, well, a 5 deploy, 6/6 would be really cool. And even if you put like Darksaber on, you can even make him bigger and bigger, and just basically just seems pretty cool. And some like old cards like I Am Your Father go pretty well with him as well, and you can play more control because there's more control options as well. And it seems like a quite fun one to play. I do want to try it out. I will be looking to try them out, and these are both rare leaders as well, so it'll be cool to grab hold of them. So that's my 4th favorite leader from the set 3. Now we got on the 3rd favorite, so like middle one now, get to the top 3, and that is Chancellor Palpatine Darth Sidious. So this is a leader that is the first of its kind, and I think this does take up one of the 2, because each aspect has 2 on the heroic side and 2 on the villainy side, and this covers up one of the heroic ones, but then it's the first of its kind, being a leader that does not deploy. So this is a leader that does not have a deploy, but is the first, and also the first leader has two sides that are different in aspects and characters as well, because he goes from Chancellor Palpatine to Darth Sidious when flipping over, and he's got quite a nice way to flip over, because he starts off on the Chancellor Palpatine side, so he starts off on the good side, and then you can flip over to the Sidious side and keep flipping back and forth, but you can only do it really once a turn, because you have to tap the leader to do it, and there is a condition to how you can do it. And yeah, I will notice that I have put the showcase ones up, because I put up my preferred art of the top of the leaders as well, that I'm interested and more focused on for set 3, because the Rex leader that showcase, I feel like the normal art is better than showcase. The same with Pre-Vizsla. I prefer the normal art to showcase, whereas for Sidious, the showcase art looks amazing for it, I reckon. So for Palpatine, he's pretty cool, because he's so to go from the light side to the dark side, you need to have a friendly heroic unit be defeated that phase. So one of your own heroic units be defeated this phase. So you've got to play heroic units in your deck to can't trigger it. And then he'll draw your card, heal 2 from your base, and flip over to its dark side. So you will tap the leader, so that you can't flip back. It'd be crazy if you could flip back and forth constantly through a game. But yeah, from the heroic side, literally, you can easily do that as well. However, your opponent will defeat one of your friendly heroic units, or you can still like basically attack your heroic leader into your opponent's unit that kind of defeat it yourself by ramming it in, and then trigger it to draw a card, heal 2, and then flip over. So it's nice that it does get a bit of draw as well from that. So it keeps, because since you haven't deployed, you do want to have more like options to do, since you won't have that deploy to kind of put a unit into play for free when you get to a certain amount of resources. But it does give you a draw and healing, And then if you dark side, and that gives you access to then the dark side. Because remember, the aspects are what you have in play. So while he's on the heroic side, you've got the aspects of cunning and heroism. Then you flip to the dark side, you now have the aspects for cunning and villainy. So depending on what side you're on, you can use those cards without an aspect penalty, but you can flip them over as long as you can time it correctly to then have access to that side you want to not have the aspect penalty for that. But it's the first leader where you can play without worrying about the aspect penalty on both heroic and the villainy stuff, which is really, really cool. It'd be interesting to see how they play. And in cunning means you've got a lot of good cunning tools, and you've got any of the other aspects to kind of pair with it with the base to kind of have access to a lot more cards than most decks do. But then when he does flip over to the dark side and become Darth Sidious, it's like his alter ego or his true ego. So I think Palpatine might be his alter ego, where Sidious is his like true identity. The way you can flip back over to your heroic side from that is by its action. Where for this one, if you played a villainy card this phase, you create a clone trooper token. So that's the heroic of the token units. And then you deal 2 damage to each enemy base, so basically to your opponent's base, and then flip over. So that's really cool. So you've got healing from the heroic side to flip over and draw a card. And then for the dark side of it, you deal 2 damage to your opponent's base and create a clone trooper. And that trooper, as long as it is defeated, is a way for you to flip back over without having played a never heroic unit out to basically be defeated to flip back over. So the dark side is giving you a way to flip back over to it once you flipped over, which is really cool. Now, the only way your opponent can get around this, or the trouble with this, is if the card doesn't get defeated and gets, let's say, bounce back to hand, where it just disappears, or anything like that. Like if the unit's not defeated, then you won't be able to use it to flip back. But the only way to do that is bounce things back to hand, which is more in yellow. So you have to watch out for that. But then the rest way, even like by reducing power, I think it's defeated. So it'd be a really cool way. But this could be interesting. You got like the damage dealing to base and also healing and drawing and flipping back and forth, giving access to different sides. So it'd be really cool to play. This seems like one of those really technical leaders like the set one Han Solo, which could be very fun to like build and play. So that's my third of the top 5 leaders I'm looking to play. And then for second place, so for the second place leader that I'm really happy to play, that is Darth Maul. So as I said, my entry to Star Wars was with the set 1. No, sorry, not set 1, with the first movie. And of course, Darth Maul debuted, and he had an epic fight at the end, facing off both against Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that fight was amazing. And then even for his art, like for his normal leader art, it's pretty sick, it's pretty great. But for his showcase, this looks amazing, and it's probably the first showcase I'm gonna have to actively buy, because it just looks so amazing and I love it. And probably it's from one of my favorite artists for the really Star Wars Unlimited game, being Emil Hutt. So yeah, like such a great art and also great effect as well, because it's all about overwhelm. So it's as you know, it's a villainy aggression, because like he's a very aggressive character, and also he's on the villainy side. And his whole effect is all about overwhelm, and overwhelm being a skill where when you do damage to a unit, any excess damage done to that unit gets put to your opponent's base. So rather than just do low damage to a unit, if you do any damage that exceeds the health of it, it then goes to your opponent's base instead. So you're then pushing through a unit, still doing piercing essentially if you play never games. Because when he's on the leader side, you tap him to attack with a unit and give it overwhelm for that attack. And when he deploys, which is at 6, and drops down as basically a base 6/6, like kind of like devil stats there, 6/6/6, which is funny. And then when he deploys, he has overwhelm himself and gives all other units that you control overwhelm as well. So all units have overwhelm to keep like controlling board and pushing damage through base. You're still controlling board, but also damaging the base as well if you're doing more damage than unit's health. And the great thing about it is like he's a force unit and underworld as well, so he's got those good traits going for him. I'm not sure if there's too much underworld in red, but you can always go with an aspect that kind of has some good underworld with it. And then force, it's a force unit, so you've got things like Fallen Lightsaber, Force Lightning, and stuff like that. Some really good force cards to go with it. You can Force Choke, and I'm just hyped to basically play this and give it a try. I'm going to try with both blue and green, even some yellow probably as well. But I'm really hyped to just play this leader and just have a lot of fun with it. So that's my second favorite leader from top 5. And on my most hyped leader I want to play on when it comes to set 1, probably the first leader I'm going to build is, and you can probably guess it by now, it's Yoda. Because Yoda's just badass, and it's also got a really cool effect as well, and gives a great usage to a card from set 1 that I really want to play but didn't really get around to playing, and that is You're My Only Hope. Because Yoda is a quite late deploying leader as well, at 7 resources, so quite late as say like Vader and things like Hunter and stuff like that. But it comes down with pretty cool stats: 4 power, which is respectable, and then 9 health, which is huge. Like, that's a lot of health. I think it's only exceeded by, I think that health is only exceeded by Jabba and Palpatine. So there's only 2 other units that have higher health than him, but still, 4 power is pretty sick, pretty strong. It's the same as health, same power as a Palpatine when it comes out, so pretty strong. And when he does deploy as well, he does have Restore 2, so he's healing you damage on base. And he comes down with one of those nice little when deployed effects, which pairs really well with his action effect. So before we go into the when deployed, we've just got to go to the action effect because that's how you kind of set it up. So his action effect in the leader area is if any unit left play this phase, it could be your opponent's unit or your unit, as long as a unit leaves play, it could be from bouncing, from being defeated, as long as it leaves play, you draw a card, and then you put the top card of your put a card from your hand on either the top or bottom of your deck. So anytime a unit leaves play, you can just basically tap Yoda to draw a card, and then put any card you don't want either back on top of your deck or bottom of your deck. And if you want to draw it back into it, or you don't want it and put it back on bottom of your deck. So a very good way to fill your hand, kind of if you can get this effect over, we'll say every turn, and you're not putting anything back on top, then you essentially fill it from your deck quicker than most decks do to kind of find what you're looking for. And a nice thing about it being either top and bottom is it can, by putting things on the top of your deck, you can set up is when deploy, because it's then when you do deploy them, when you can finally do so, is when deployed effect is you can discard a card from your deck. And how I read that before was just discard any card from your deck, which would be absolutely insane, but it's got to be the top card of your deck. So you can essentially discard the top card of your deck, and if you do, you defeat an enemy non-leader unit that costs the same as or less than discarded card. So you can put something big on your deck, which unfortunately with the only way you can beat some of the things that Darkside have, that Darkside has higher costing cards, is by putting some not great cards in your deck to kind of just have this for a Yoda, but still just in his aspect himself, you can go up to eventually, I think 10 with the new Zillo Beast, I think. So you can go quite high, and you can basically top that. So when you deploy, you can defeat almost anything that's not a leader by just deploying, by discarding that card as well. So you can essentially use the leader's area's effect, the tap, draw a card, and then put something that's high costing on top of your deck, or up to higher or around the same as the cost of something you want to take out. And then deploy the leader, discard that top card of your deck, and then defeat something that has the same or less of a cost than the card you discarded. So that's pretty sick. You can just basically remove something straight from the deploy with pretty solid stats, also have Restore 2, and your front side, you're kind of just filtering through your deck quicker to kind of find the things you're after. And you've got some pretty nice upgrades you can throw on Yoda as well. Like you've got General's Blade. If you're playing green, that kind of make him even stronger, then make him to a 7/12, and then reduce the cost of the next card unit you play. You got Jedi Lightsaber to get the same stat boost, but then when you attack something, you minus it by 2/2 if you attack into a unit. So very, very good cards you can have with it, and Yoda just is hyped. I love Chirrut, and I love I like Rey as well. I didn't play it too much, but I like the yellow version, like the double blue Chirrut, yellow Rey, and then Yoda I'm looking forward to playing as well as Obi-Wan, but then Yoda just takes the cake with what he can do. So that is my top 5 leaders for the set 3 that I'm looking to hype to play. So let me know what your top 5 leaders are. And if you agree, if you like the ones I'm playing as well, what your top 5 are. I'd just be interested to know what people are looking forward to and how hyped this set is, because I am very hyped for it and can't wait for it to release soon. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Like a boss.